Hello. Today I'm going to show you how I make my balloon centerpiece. It's a series that I'm doing for Halloween, and the first part was a witch theme, and this part is going to be a spider theme. So here I'm just showing you some of the supplies that you'll need to do this centerpiece. First, we're going to need to make 3 quads. We're going to size them down to 8 inches. Remember, when we're putting our dupes together, to make sure to connect them in the center so that you would have a tight connection. I have to say, when I was trying to come up with a design for this centerpiece, I really didn't know what I was going to be using. So this is kind of off the cuff. Okay, you're going to take your 260 and you're going to double tie it to the center of one of the quads. Now I'm taking my balloon pump and I'm changing the adapters to the smaller ones so I can blow up my 5-inch balloons. And we're going to make 2 quads for the 5-inch balloons. Size them down to 4 inches. We want the balloons to be in a circular fashion. Makes them fit nicer when you put them together, and it's more pleasing to the eye. Now we're going to take our quad with the 260 that we tied to it, place the 4-inch quad nestled in the center, and we're going to wrap the 260 around the 4-inch, connecting it to the 8-inch balloons in a figure 8 pattern. Once you do your figure 8 pattern, pull the 260 snugly back into the center. Now we're going to add our second 8-inch quad, and again use the 260 to do a figure 8 pattern to connect it to the 4-inch quad. Then take your second 4-inch quad, connect that with the figure 8 pattern and the final 8-inch quad for the outside. Find your 260 and tie it to the neck of the last 8-inch quad that you just attached. Now we're going to add our accessories to the base that we just built. We're going to take our Bobo balloon and we're going to fill it with some interesting items, starting with the tissue paper and some 5-inch balloons that I sized down to about 4 inches individually, and we're going to stuff it inside the balloon. You can add any item into these Bobo balloons as long as it's not something that's sharp or too heavy. It could be a small plush stuffed animal. Anything that you can think of that will add interest to the inside of the balloon and draw attention. Now I'm folding up the foil so that I can place it in the balloon, and then I opened it out. And I'm going to use my hand pump to inflate the foil balloon. Want to make sure to do this very carefully because we don't want to pop our Bobo balloon. Now I'm going to use my heat sealer to seal the bottom of the Bobo balloon. And I'm doing this to make sure that the air does not get released from the Bobo balloon once I start to inflate it. So you want to make sure that the Bobo is flat. There's no ridges or pockets when you do the sealing process. And I'm just going to do a second one to reinforce it. I will leave a link to the description of the items that I'm using in this video in case you want to purchase it for yourself. I do receive a small commission from Amazon if you do decide to use my link to purchase the products. So now I'm using my hand pump to blow up the balloon, and I'm listening to hear if there's any air that is leaking out of the balloon. We don't want the air to escape from the balloon once we finish setting it up. So take your 260, make sure that you get all the air out of it and stretch it, and then tie a knot at the end so that the air will stay out of the 260 and it will stay flat. And we're going to use that to seal the bottom of our balloon. Now I'm going to use the inflator valve on the side of the Bobo balloon to slowly inflate the balloon. I'm trying to make sure that there's no air escaping and also to make sure that the balloon is going to be a perfect round shape. I also want to make sure that my items are going to sit nicely in the bottom of the balloon. I'm holding that foil balloon valve in my hand and also trying to push the air up and make sure I have a good grip on the valve of that foil balloon, because when I attach the 260, I want that foil balloon to stand up. Gathering the foil valve and the Bobo at the base and cinching it and twisting it to try to make sure that I'm going to have a tight seal at the bottom. And I'm now wrapping the 260 balloon around that connection. You pull it tight and you wrap it in each direction about 5 times, and then double tie it. Full disclosure, I am new to using these balloons, these Bobo balloons. I've been watching some videos of how to use them, and this is a newer type of balloon that they have made. Before, you would have to take a different type of Bobo balloon and cut it in order to stuff it. And this one has a wide neck, so you can put your items inside without having to cut the balloon. So this is a practice for me to make sure that I know how to do this properly, because once I make it, I want to make sure that the balloons will last. I don't want my air to escape and, the balloon to deflate before it's time. Now I'm tying another 260 balloon to the base of the Bobo, and I'm going to use this to attach it to my balloon base that I built earlier. So you just find a place that you want to secure the Bobo and use your 260 to wrap around the other balloons in the base and make sure it's a snug fit. So here I'm using some little 4-inch mini clusters that I did to add pop of color to the base and also to hide any gaps that may be visible and just to fill out the base of the balloon a little more and just add some interesting accents. Make sure to always hide your mechanics. You don't want people to see how you're attaching, and I'm just using a rubber band that I put onto the mini clusters and attaching it to the base. Again, just be sure to hide your mechanics. You want your work to look professional. So like I said before, I was doing this centerpiece off the cuff. I didn't really know what I was going to use for it, and I have this big space at the top of the base, and something needs to go there. Now it could be a number, like if you're doing this for a birthday centerpiece, but since it's not for that situation, I have to figure out what else can I use to the top of the base for that extra space that's there on the side. And so I decided to attach a balloon spider. So I'm taking a 5-inch balloon and inflating it to maybe about 4 inches, and then a 11-inch balloon and making it slightly bigger to make the body of the spider, the head and the body of the spider. And then I'm using the 260 balloons, and I'm going to make the legs for the spider. So I'm just trying to decide how I'm going to make the attachment and twist these 260 balloons to make them actually look like spider legs instead of just sticking straight out like they're doing now. I'm not a balloon twister. I have watched a few videos on how to do this, so I'm going to play around with it and see if I can make it work. So this is a final product. Let me know what you think. So if you're liking my content, please SLC, subscribe, like, and comment, and tap that notification bell for more posts. Until next time, bye.